everybody. Happy Remembrance Day and Veterans Day for those in the south of the border. And like I said in my post, freedom isn't free, right? Freedom isn't free. There was a lot of life taken for us to have what we have here, and we got to be careful because there's some powers out there in the world who would like to take that freedom from us. Just want to touch on a couple things. First, my last upload on the UFO and Sasquatch. You would not believe how many comments I deleted. Some people were getting pretty upset. People get conditioned. It's conditioning. People hear a lot of rhetoric, a lot of narratives. And when my family and I, my sister and some of my relatives, we had the discussion whether or not I should do this. And that was part of the discussion, was how people are conditioned to view the subject in a certain way. It's a conditioning of a whole entire group of people. And many were afraid to speak up against it. I'm not. That's just who I am. But that was one of the discussions that we needed to, they were preparing me or trying to prepare me or warn me that I was entering into a difficult situation. I knew this going in, right? And again, there's that fear factor. People like to be afraid. Children like to be spooked, scared, right from the get-go, right? Little kids, they like the fear factor. It's just something in the human psyche and the human nature. The most popular channels and stories and videos out there are of Sasquatch being these monsters, these things to fear, and it's sad. But so entering into that arena, we knew it was going to be difficult, and we knew there was going to be a challenge to go up against that, right? And keep going, boots on the ground. I'll keep going out there and doing what I do and sharing it with all of you. We just keep going forward. So tonight, earlier on tonight, it's late. I'm doing this rather late, but I took the thermal out there to the gifting site, and I'm going to show you some of these images. I used the IR setting on a couple of them, and then I went to the thermal itself. I had already put the gifts out there, the treats, come in the house and grab the thermal, and then I went back, walked slowly to the gifting site, and as I went forward and as I got close to the gifting bowl, I start taking pictures with a thermal camera. And I just want to show you some of these thermal images. I also walked over to the chalkboard and took a still there. Image. Let's go to the first image. Sorry for the date on the bottom. I don't know why my thermal is telling me 2023. We're not there yet. Everything else on it is correct, except for the year. This is 2022, the 12th of November that you're looking at here. Temperature minus 2.8 degrees Celsius. It just start appearing on the thermal, right? The thermal camera that I have doesn't have video, so it only allows me to take still images. Every time I capture an image, I've got to go through about a 2-second process to save that image, right? So maybe further on down the road we can get something that I can actually record video. Just in case anybody's wondering, in front of my computer, my desktop, and we're gonna go over these. What you're looking at here is I was about 3/4 of the way to the gifting site, and this thing started appearing in front of me on my thermal, so I took the still. To me, that looks, I'm not sure how a face could form in the thermal place. It would have to be very, very close to me, right? To me, it looks like there is a face there, and I can't see if this is Kona or which one of the clan this is. If it is a face, it's always going to be black and white and black, depending on my color spectrum. I've got the eyes, the nose, and the mouth marked out here. Interesting. I've not picked up one of these yet on the IR, on the thermal camera, on the IR setting. I'm just putting this out here for you guys to see, and sharing what I capture on this thermal image is pay attention to this temperature here. After I took the still, I walked right to the bowl, turn around, come back, and as I'm coming back towards my house, I stopped and I changed the color spectrum to the thermal color setting. Something is showing up in the middle of the trail, on my trail to my house, right here. I'm not sure what this is. It just started showing up in my thermal, and again I take the still. If you will, up here, pay attention to the temperature. After I had what I think may be a face right in front of me, I'm turning around to leave the area and the temperature's dropping. I've only walked 40 feet, about 40 feet from where I grabbed the first still with the face. This is the third image I was able to take. About 10 seconds later, and whatever was there on the trail directly in front of me moves to screen left. Minus 9.6. This is the third still. About 20 seconds later, again we are in the thermal color spectrum. We've dropped 2 more degrees, and this is all while I'm walking away from the gifting bowl, right? I would say I'm about 70 feet from the gifting site, and we've dropped another 2 degrees, minus 11.2 degrees Celsius. Strange. This is coming back away from the gifting site. In this fourth image, about 70 feet from the gifting bowl, and I stopped and switched back to IR to see if what was there was going to show up on the IR setting, right? And it's there, and it picked up 3. We're looking at something right smack dab in the center, and then this larger one here, and then one up here to screen left. And now look at the temperature. We dropped another degrees, minus 12.6 degrees Celsius. This is all within seconds of each other. Nothing's really happening other than walking to and fro, right? But yet, when I was at the gifting site, we had minus 2.6 degrees Celsius. I move away from it, and we've dropped 10 degrees in temperature. These things are forming in front of me on the trail. I find this very, very interesting. And from there, I walked over to the chalkboard, our BIGFOOT chalkboard. I stood about 6 feet back from the board and had my thermal facing directly at the board, and I mean, it literally looks like you're walking into a tunnel with this image. But the temperature, right? We're sitting at minus 12.2 degrees Celsius at the chalkboard, staring directly at the chalkboard. That's what it was picking up for temperature right there around the chalkboard. And over at the gifting bowl, when that, what may be a face showing up in front, right directly in front of me, it would have to be, because this thermal camera, it's got a range of about 60 feet. But for that face to be right in front of me, it would have had to have only been 10 feet, right? 12 feet in front of me when I was walking to the gifting bowl. And we only had minus 2 right there where I captured what may be a face. The further I moved away from the gifting site, we dropped 10 degrees. That's quite a change in temperature. From my house to the gifting bowl is about 120, 130 feet. The temperature change, right? Just within 120 feet. That's crazy. I wanted to share this with you guys. It blows my mind every time I go out there with the thermal. I really want to take the thermal camera up to the White Birch Bigfoot clan where all the arches are. They really need to do that one day. I'm gonna have to pre-plan and make sure I have all my equipment that I want to take with me written down, and then do a checklist, right? Because I always forget stuff. I gotta be not too hard on myself because, you know, when you're alone, things like that happen and you forget stuff. But I do what I can and I do the best I can, right? Okay, so I just wanted to share this with you guys. You guys can let me know what you think. Every time I take that thermal out there, it kind of freaks me out because I can't see. My thermal is seeing something, right? And I'm looking out there in the darkness, and you know, if there's a little bit of light from my yard light, from my house, I can't see nothing. This is where things are so paranormal, right? Because these things are hidden from our eyes, but yet the technology, the thermal, the thermal imagery, the thermal cameras, the IR cameras, your digital cameras are able to pick up some of this, right? And it's pretty amazing technology right now. And I imagine as time goes on, it'll just get, I'm not sure how much better it can get, but I imagine it will. And we will see more, right? We'll see more. If those things are there, if there's something to be seen, the equipment seems to be picking it up. So I will leave it there. We were sitting at -15, -20, went down to -31. The one night it was pretty cold. And this morning when I woke up, and right now, +1, +2, the snow is melt. I think the little bit of snow we have is probably gonna melt away. But that allows me to get down to the trees, right? And I'm hoping, it looks like we're gonna have a few days of this, and I'm hoping to get the WBBC, the White Birch Bigfoot clan, and deposit one of the gifting bowls there, and then set up the one that on that last visit to Seven Creeks was to do the new gifting bowl there, but I got sidetracked. Oh, sometimes I'm just being pulled to certain areas and I just go with it. I get a feeling that I should go there or I should go here, and I go. The empath in me, and I'm getting feelings to go move somewhere else, go another place. That's what I do. I will sign off there, and you guys all take care. You guys stay safe, and we'll see you in the trees. Bye for now.